Y'all, it was the smear for me. It was the smeared. Listen, baby, if y'all are not watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta season 11, y'all are missing out. Y'all are missing out. The cast is giving, all right? It's so many layers to what's happening. Baby, it's just a good show right now for me anyway. I'm entertained every Tuesday night, okay? And they always leave us with something to talk about. So, this episode is episode what? 14 from season 11. It's called Resting Beach Face. Now, I'm going to go ahead and rate the episode on a scale of 1 to 10, and then we're going to talk about it. You know what's funny? Because I wasn't even thinking about what I would rate it. I'm just gonna go ahead and rate it like a 9.5, like a 9.5, 9.9. It's borderline a 10, but y'all let me know what y'all thought in the chatterization down below. This blow up, it was within the I just read it, I watched it again, right? I watched the first 10 minutes again, and the drama kicks off in the first 5 minutes. Okay, first 5 minutes. We already up in the drama. We are in the chaos. We are in the thick of it. And to be honest with you, I feel like what they could have done was they could have it. What it could have been was, oh, they pick up where Spice and Bambi left off, and it could have just ended there. But that was really just the beginning, okay? Because the real beef was between Bambi and Shekinah. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it, right? So Spice and Bambi still going at it because let me put you on game in case you missed last episode. Because it has been 2 weeks, right? Because the awards came on last week, so we didn't get it. So now we back. And last week, Spice was talking about Bambi. She was responding to Bambi saying that she had not spoken to Erica about what Erica said, and she had only learned about it from Sierra. Now, at this point, Spice says, asking basically, talking about how they was being fake or whatever. Now, when Bambi's like, well, who you talking to? At that point, Spice tries to make it seem like she's talking to Sierra. But later on in this episode, we will find out that she was speaking about what Bambi was saying. So Bambi, in my opinion, had every right to respond and ask, I'm sorry, escúchame, what did you say to me? Okay. Why not? Like Spice, why are you mad? And even in this conversation, she's gonna be like, if you hear her in the background, she's asking why all of this anger towards her. And I'm like, the only person that's angry here is you, babes. Babes. Like, are you not like that unaware? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, what's going on? Like, why doesn't she realize that she is often the catalyst for a lot of the drama that she has? We'll dive further deeper into that when she has a conversation with Sierra, because Sierra is going to somewhat set her straight, right? But for now, we still got to deal with that angle. So that's what the situation was. Now, at that point, that simmers down for a bit because really, what should Spice be doing in this situation? Spice has had multiple surgeries and she has a year of healing from last we understood before, or a year or 6 months, or at least some period of time before she has to go back and get anything else done. In between that time, do y'all think she should really be fighting? I don't. Personally, we already were told that when Erica tossed the table at her, that it hit her in the tummy area where she has the most scarring. So why would you then want to tussle with someone else when you don't really even need to? And I think, as Sierra is going to state, and I think Bambi states it, that she was holding on to that that anger from Erica, and she unleashed it on the person that was closest to Erica at that point, because she had already kind of dealt with Sierra, but she hadn't dealt with Bambi yet. So my thought is, if you're gonna be saying slick comments like "Why you being so fake," you can't be surprised that you're met with who you talking to. Like, I mean, you said you stoked the flames, babes. Like, so at a certain point in time, like you just gotta own some of this stuff. And if you mad, just say it, right? Um, so then that calms down. Scrap shows up, and Bambi's like, what happened that led to y'all to get to this place anyway? And so she kind of then pipes in to explain how she initiated a conversation between Erica and Spice, and how she did not believe, how she said she didn't believe that they was fasting for Spice. Now, I don't blame Shekinah for saying that, because I feel like I didn't believe it either. Now, I don't know. I can't say why I didn't believe it, but I just didn't believe it. It just seemed like, yeah, was y'all fasting for that girl? Like, I mean, it just, maybe they was, you know what I'm saying? But I just didn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just came, it was just like one of those things where you feel like somebody saying it and they just kind of saying it to say, girl, I was real concerned about you. I even fasted. I missed the meal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So anyway, so Bambi takes issue with Shekinah not believing that. And I'm gonna be for real with y'all. Now, for the most part, I feel like Shekinah was very wrong in a lot of this argument that comes next. But I didn't feel like she was wrong for telling Bambi that she didn't believe it. I felt like I like it when when a person will say, well, I mean, this is what I said, because I didn't believe it. But Bambi didn't really appreciate that. So, Shekinah's like, yo, let me finish my what I'm telling you, so you can hear the full story, because you asked a question and I'm explaining it to you. But I'm also telling you what I said. And I like that, because I feel like, yo, so it won't come back to you any other way that I did not say nothing or whatever. So Bambi's like, now see, I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that. I think she was still mad from the argumentation with Spice. Point blank. So at that point, Shekinah's like, you ain't gonna let me finish. So, I don't believe y'all was fasting, because if y'all was fasting, y'all should have been fasting because to keep some of these men that y'all was married to. Basically talking about Sierra, Bambi, and Erica, because they all have gone through or are going through divorces. I was like, now see, that's where I felt like Shekinah went wrong. Because Shekinah, for me, I feel like Erica already got you with that fasting comment. Okay. Like, Erica got you together with that fasting thing. So I also feel like you, from what we see, do you have is you what do you have somebody that I mean, I guess the thought about it is like, if you're gonna come at somebody about their relationships, I'm gonna need to see you in a successful one. Because if I don't see you in a successful relationship, you coming at Bambi, Sierra, and Erica about their relationships that have gone down the drains. I mean, are you fasting for the men's, for these Negroes, as you said? I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with being single and people that get divorced. I mean, it happens. Okay. How many marriages end in divorce in this country? A lot. Okay. A lot. So I feel like, if you was Rashida, well, no. If you was Yandy, well, huh. Mm. If you was Candy, okay, and you said y'all should have been fasting to keep your mans, which I don't even feel like that's something Candy would ever say. But I'm just looking at somebody who has had a successful marriage, who has withstood the test of some time. You know what I'm saying? If you was Karen Huger and you had said that, you know what I'm saying? Like that would have resonated more. But from what we can see, baby, we don't know what you got, because as you called, you see, and so then the next thing she goes into was, as Scrap tries, so Bambi's like, well, I'm getting a divorce because my husband cheated, allegedly. So Scrap decides he's about to pipe in, and he's like, well, see what the situation was, and Shekinah's like, you saved her. Saved her. Oh, that's what you call it. So anyway, this gets into some very interesting minutia about the dynamics between women and how they weaponize relationships against each other on these shows. It's particularly relationships with men, marriages, failing and being single or whatever you want to call it. I feel like to say that he saved her. Now, granted, it wasn't a good look for Bambi to be back in that hot tub back over a decade ago, but it also was a decade ago. You had to go reach down into the bowels and the depths of the past, and baby, they ain't spend no expense pulling up that footage of Bambi in the hot tub looking like she was making out with Benzino. Now, I ain't gonna say nothing bad about Benzino because that Coil Ray will come after you. But what I'm saying is, and that's her daddy. She should, you know what I'm saying? And side note, she got a bomb at y'all. Lord, y'all know I don't do the cursing on here. She got a bomb album. So anyway, I digress. Woo. Got ahead of myself on that one. So anyway, see, this is why. Y'all know I tell y'all when I be doing recaps, I be coming on calm, right? And then 3 to 5 minutes in, something get to taking over. And it just got the spirit had just jumped on me at that point right there. Oh Lord. So anyway, so yeah, back to how the women on these shows weaponize relationships with men is just very interesting to me, to really dissect the dynamics of how Shekinah of all people is coming at Bambi about how she came onto the show, and then she says Bambi came onto the show as a friend. That may have been true, but she's at least a main cast member at this point. I mean, Shekinah, what are you but a friend on this show? And quiet as it's kept, Bambi says, you are just Spice's assistant. Wasn't she Tiny's assistant at one point, or hairstylist or something like that? All I know is it always feels like Shekinah is more of a side character, more of a friend of, more of a plot point, someone to help move story, but they never really seem to want to give her a full-time spot. I'm not mad at her role on the show, but I think the direction that she went with this argument had a lot of holes in it. And Bambi was able to pick at those holes pretty calmly. So at that point, Spice gets up again, and they going at it or whatnot, and whoop-de-whoop. And Bambi tells one of them that the wig is in the ocean. I'm trying to figure out whose wig is in the ocean. Is it Spice's? Because Spice clearly had on a wig. Was she talking about Spice's wig, the mushroom wig, or was she talking about Shekinah? Like, I did like Shekinah's hair in that scene. I ain't gonna lie. So anyway, as karma for Shekinah's, harsh words towards Bambi, she then is attacked by an eel. Okay. The eel grazed her foot and she gets to hooping and hollering and running and screaming. Her and Spice make their exit. It was probably time. I think the eel was a sure enough sign that, hey, honey, you've done too much for tonight. Babes, it's time to go. Okay. So off they go. At that point, Bambi feels like it's attack Bambi night, and everybody was just laughing and hooting and hollering, and it's funny that she's being come after for, she's going through a divorce. And Scrap pipes in, and then he says, nah, player, let me tell y'all what happened. She set me up. I was texting that other girl, okay? I was texting that other girl, and 2 days later, she come on the divorce. Now, you can't tell me that won't no setup. You can't tell me that won't no setup. It was a setup. It was a scheme. It was a setup. It was a scheme. I was texting her. 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 It was a scheme. Okay, and I was like, who gonna tell him? Because Kirk ain't gonna tell him. Rashid ain't gonna tell him. Yandy ain't gonna tell him. Nobody has enough sense to tell this man that you don't think it's wrong for you to be texting some other girl. She's supposed to sit there and take it. Like, I mean, come on, player. Oh, if she loved you, she wouldn't have divorced you 2 days after finding out you was texting somebody. Oh, so love from a woman for you, for you, Scraps, is her to stick beside him even when you continuously fall short. We know he continuously fell short because later he will tell her he did. Okay? For those of you guys in the comment section who for some reason refuse to see this element of the breakdown of their relationship. All right. So anyway, it was just mind-boggling to me. So everybody's sitting there chuckling, and Bam and Spice leave. Not Bam and Spice, but Bam and Sierra leave. Side note, I just realized it occurred to me. Bambi's first name is in the beginning part of her Instagram page name. I was like, now I know I didn't see this Adizia. I'm getting it wrong, Alize. But I just realized that. I was like, oh, we've known her name all this time. I thought it was just the Bam. You know what I'm saying? I thought that's what it was. This Bam. Y'all get it? You're like, that's what I thought it was. But no, it's really part of her name. Ain't that something? Fun fact. So anyway, Bambi, before she left, she did acknowledge that what Erica said was wrong. Yandy, as Sierra and Bambi are walking away, is like, ooh, I really hope she's okay. And I'm like, Yandy, you ain't no friend to this woman. Okay? You stoked the flames and Yandy swore up and down. I'm not against you, girl. I'm not against you. You definitely ain't for her, because if you was, you would have been at least checking on her to see if she was okay. I gotta give it to Bambi. Y'all may not like her. And I ain't saying she's innocent in everything in the divorce, because I'm sure it takes two to tango. But to sit there and have took everything that was coming her way last night and to still continue to show up for the rest of the episode, I ain't gonna lie, that's a G right there. So you might not like her, but to have everybody coming at her, everybody at the table literally just laughing at her, and to really only have Sierra on her side, because Carly at this point is too scared to speak up to anybody. She definitely ain't speaking up to Spice. She gonna give side commentary in her confessionals about Shekinah, but the only person I feel like the other person that really had her back, I think, was kind of like Amy. And I'm really beginning to like Amy, because Amy was basically like, in that argument, she was like, don't argue with that. Like, and I got what she was saying. Like, whether she was calling Shekinah that or just saying that in general, like, you can't argue. Don't argue this whole idea of somebody who's not been married trying to tell you as a married person what to do. It makes no sense, right? Like, if I'm going to take advice from somebody, I'm going to take some advice from somebody that's either been in my position, but not from somebody who's looking in from afar. I'm just not. I mean, that is married or single. Like, and that's just in life in general. Like, if I want to be in a specific spot, the person I'm going to ask for advice is somebody who's already in that spot, or somebody who's been in that spot. I'm not going to ask somebody that ain't ever been in it. And from to my knowledge, has she ever been married? Like Shekinah? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. No, that's neither bad or good, right? I'm not placing the value in, oh, the married person is all this and all that. No, I'm just simply stating that the marriage is a thing that you may need advice on. It would be helpful to get advice from someone who has been married. That's just it, period. But that doesn't make a married person any better than a single person. No, it does not. That Do you get what I'm saying? It's like being in business. If you're an entrepreneur, I would probably want to get advice from an entrepreneur versus somebody who has never been an entrepreneur. That makes no sense to me. So anyway, the next day, Sierra wants to talk to Spice. Spice in one breath says, I don't know where this anger is coming from with Bambi. I wasn't talking to her. And so Sierra was like, you said y'all was fake. And then Spice is like, yeah, because Bambi was talking and saying y'all hadn't spoken to Erica. So you was talking to Bambi. And if you wasn't talking directly to her, you definitely was talking about her because you lumped her in with the y'all are so fake. Like, stop this, Spice. Stop it. You never understand your role in the situation because you can't see past whatever anger it is that you have recently. And it might be, as Sierra states, Spice has been through a lot. And I don't think that she knows that she's overreacting to just about everything. And I feel like she's literally putting these women through the paces with trying to be her friend. And I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Okay? That they just keep on putting up with it. And finally, Sarah tells her, like, girl, you got to stop with the rah-rah stuff. And I'm glad that somebody is finally addressing Spice's anger. Like, Sierra sympathizes with her for going through so much, but they end up with Spice saying, as she says almost every episode, I just want to have a good time. Oh, Lord. Not again. You know what that sounds to me like? That sounds to me like you want another argument, because every time she said, I want peace, I want it to be tranquil, I want it to be this and that, the next thing you know, she's in an argumentation. So I'm gonna need for you to, Spice, just simply say, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. Okay, because maybe then if you just acknowledge it, then maybe it won't even happen. But every time you say, I just want to have a good time, I just want it to be good vibes, you end up in an argumentation. So now what I'm saying, let's try some Uno reverse. Just say you want to fight. Okay, just show up to every scene in some shorts or some dunks and some boxing gloves, and just tell them, like, I'm ready to fight. Who want it? And I bet you everybody ignore you at that point. Anyway, everybody gets to the boat. Carly's being dramatic as usual, crying and things like that because Chaotic is jumping up and down on the net she laying on. Scrap's sitting off to the side. Spice talks to Rashida and says she realizes that she's easily triggered and everyone else is triggering her to look like an angry black woman. Let me say this, all right? In my opinion, I refuse, it's not my opinion, it's where I'm at. I refuse to accept the angry black woman stereotype. To me, if a black woman is angry, she deserves to be angry. She has a right to be angry. Everybody else in this world gets to be angry. So a black woman being angry is probably because something made her angry. So my black women, I don't want you to walk into spaces anymore feeling like, and I know it's easy for me to say as a black man, but I think it's time that we start rejecting these notions of how other people see us. and embrace whatever it is that we're feeling. Because to me, that is how Spice now gets to the root of whatever is bothering her. Not by being worried that people will look at her as an angry Black woman. And I know that that is a reality for some people who look at us. But for us who are actually living and breathing as Black people, we can't worry about how other people see us anymore, because that then denies us the right to feel whatever it is that we are feeling at the time. Because only when we acknowledge that we are feeling angry in that moment can we then begin to work through whatever is angering us in that moment. Because anger is it's a feeling, it's an emotion, it's a temporary state, but it is not a complete identity for who you are. And so if you are experiencing trauma that is triggering to you, or you're experiencing people that are triggering to you, you have to learn how to deal with that trigger. But nobody can make, but then let me address the second thing that she said. Okay. Everyone else is triggering her to look like something. No, they're not. If they're triggering you, it's up to you to determine what that trigger is. And then you choose whether or not to react to it or not. But they're not making you react any type of way. I do think that something is internally going on with Spice. That is the reason why she's easily triggered by things that other people are saying or doing. But the other people saying and doing is not the metric by which you begin to say, oh, they're doing things to make me look like this. No, you look like this because something is triggering you and you are easily triggered at this moment. Why is it that you are easily triggered? Let's get to the root of that. And some of y'all not going to get that, because that is a deeper issue, all right? That is deeper than a lot of people are willing to go. But we need to start to understand our own traumas as the reason why we react how we're reacting to external stimuli. Now, and I say the reason I went so hard about that, we're not gonna allow people to run with this angry Black person trope any longer, is because if you are angry, there is a reason why you are angry. And everyone in their lifetime so many other people can be angry, but that anger is not put on them as a label, as the complete identity of who they are. So we're not going to allow that anymore either. Because I'm angry today and in this moment doesn't mean that I'm going to be angry tomorrow or angry forever. Anyway, that just bothers me. We're gonna have to stop allowing other people outside of who our collective, outside of who we are collectively, whatever you are, to identify you as something based on what a larger picture seems or sounds like. Again, sorry to go down that rabbit hole, but it needed to be said. All right. Another reason I like this show so much is because there are so many layers that we need to process. I love it. I absolutely love it. So anyway, Scrap is sitting off to the side again, like I said. Sierra, Bambi, and Rennie and Amy lamenting about everybody staying in everybody's business. And we then learn off camera, she kind of approached Amy about the stuff that Amy was saying in defense of Bambi. And she learned this from Rennie. Now, Rennie says, oh, I was just telling her, what was everybody was singing last night after she left or whatever. Everybody. Well, first of all, Amy was saying that stuff before Shekinah left. Shekinah was still there. Telling Amy what Shekinah said, to me, Rennie tries to say, oh, I was just saying it. You're like, nah, play it. Like, I'm not going to let you roll with that one. To me, You told her that, okay, and it was messy. It was messy. And if you're not going to acknowledge it, I will. I will, you know. Um like even in your confession when you was trying to explain, I was like, girl, you was messy. You was being messy. So to then write it off as though Amy just has a problem with you, I'm sure y'all still had y'all issues, but I felt like Amy in that moment was not wrong. I did not feel like she was wrong. I felt like, okay, now it's time for me to, address you. Because at the end of the day, okay, um, what you did was messy. And I don't like how later on Yandy and Rashida tried to gaslight her into making it seem like she is this person who was running around again. Like what this is a different situation from Spice. I feel like she like nothing was done. Like it would be different if Shekinah didn't approach Amy about it, right? But the result of Rennie's actions was Shekinah then approaching Amy on some, some like, oh, let me let you know who I am type stuff. So yeah, you said it and you was being messy. Because otherwise it wasn't really nothing that needed to be said. To be honest with you, she was trying to tell Bambi, hey, listen, don't even argue with that. You arguing with somebody who does not have a clue about what you're going through. True tea for me. Um, Carly crying in the background. Um, they still going at it. Rashida and Yandy go talk to Bambi, and Bambi wonders why this entire group is coming at her crazy when she's going through the divorce and she's paying for everything. She says she's paying for everything for the kids. She's doing all of this stuff. Clearly, let's not forget that she alleges that he wasn't even helping her pay the rent. He was not paying this portion of the rent, according to her. Let me put the alleged badge up here because that's what she said, not him. Okay. And Yandy tries to tell her, no, we're not coming at you, but you're not really trying to help her either. I feel like Yandy and Rashida are just kind of there to provide some OG energy on this show, but not really to get into the muck and the mire of what's going on, but to sort of school the girls on what they should be doing. And so they take the opportunity as they're leaving the boat to tell Amy that she's got to calm down, and she becomes apologetic um over the whole situation with Rennie. But I'm like, y'all not gonna hold Rennie accountable for being messy? Like, no, like nobody gonna do. Okay, we're just gonna let that go. Okay, fine. Scrap and Chaotic got a McDonald's commercial. Now I'm like, okay, now see, we getting to some new levels now. I ain't mad at it. I am not mad at that. Okay. I thought that was pretty dope to see within the episode itself. So I'm sure they got a nice little coin for that. So yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, Jessica finally arrives and she meets Bambi on the beach. Bambi fills her in on everything that happened with Spice and Shekinah over Erica's racial slur. And Bambi wants to hold Erica accountable, and so does Jessica, but she has not yet heard back from Erica. Now, I don't know if this is really true or not, but what it does, I can imagine almost that if Erica knows that what she did was wrong, that it would probably be hard to talk to her black friends about it. Okay. Just keep it like a G. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, karaoke night. Yandy talks to Rennie, who feels like Amy wanted a moment, but I'm like, you're saying that Amy wanted a moment, but it was you who set the moment in motion. Rennie then checks on Scrappy and he claims he doesn't even know why he's getting a divorce. Where he been all season? So anyway, it's two different cliques, and Yandy and Sierra want everybody to get together. Bam is still annoyed that no one in the group had her back. Chaotic introduces a game. Everybody got to say something positive about each other. Really, this is just a way for Rennie and Amy to talk. Amy is supposed to forget that Rennie went back and told Shekinah these things that she was saying. And she does yet again. And then apparently it was because Rennie told everything that was said. So I don't know. It is what it is. Sierra is hopeful that Spice and Bambi will eventually follow suit, but I'm like, it's not gonna happen today. So Kirk encourages Scrappy to have a conversation with Bambi, and so Yandy escorts Scrappy over to where Bambi is, but does make Bambi give her the drink. I don't know if that was because maybe Scrappy thought that she was gonna toss the drink in his face, but Scrap tells her he appreciates her, what a great mom she is. She's a good person. He's so sorry. He does love her. He blames his ego. He should have handled not getting what he needed differently. He feels like he effed up, before and in the past. He still loves her. She admits she will always love him. She begins to break down. She feels like he hasn't given her enough grace. He tells her she's not a perfect person, but she's a blessing. The moment is really actually nice. I don't know what happened after this moment because real time it seems like they're still in a bit of a mess and a bit of chaos. So, I don't know. But they hug and then they go to separate ways. It was a nice little ending to the episode. So we got a lot that happened in this episode, a lot to unpack, man. It was so good. Side note, I did follow that up by watching the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And to be honest with you, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. Tuesday nights are lit. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is giving. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is actually even better without Jen Shah on it. And I did not think that was possible. But Mary M. Cosby is back. And baby, she was not playing last night. If y'all really want me to do on a review on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I may still try to get it done with something. I have a lot to do today, but we'll see about it. But I will tell you that it was giving. It was amazing. I literally, I'm gonna watch it again. I laughed so much in that episode. It was not even funny. So, with that being said, listen, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next video.